Not that anybody cares, but I haven't been able to make new videos. But today I thought I should share something on one of my favorite books, Upanishad. Some of you must have read it, and it's basically a compilation of uh, poetry is one way of putting it, but it's much deeper than poetry. Almost uh, all scriptural texts are poetic in nature. You take any religion, any organized religion, or for the matter, even non-organized text, and you'll notice that they are very poetic in substance. Upanishad is no different. It is it is very uh, what do you how do you put it? Very figurative. But what sets it apart from the rest of the books that have stood the test of time is it doesn't have authorship, which is not unique because a lot of Vedic texts don't have authors. You'll you'll be amazed by uh, the length of work, the depth of uh, philosophy, but you won't get the name of the person who wrote it in the first place. And that is true for Upanishads. Which brings us to the question, like, why exactly would you do that? So my understanding is that it's kind of stating that the message is greater than the messenger. The messengers will come and go, but the message will stay around. But another theory could be that when you remove the author's name, when you remove the person who wants to take credit for the thought, you are kind of uh, restricting in a lot of ways. Actually, one way is you are suggesting that you are the first one to observe or think about this, which can never be the case. Whatever we are saying, we are thinking, has already been thought of before. That's why the ocean of thoughts is never going to be satisfied. It's always going to be building up and up and up. The second way you kind of restrict is by building a case of defense. Let's say Upanishad says something which you don't agree with, right? If there's a name attached to it because you don't agree with, you're going to think of being defensive against that person. You're going to find the history of that person. So you're going to waste time. Similarly, if you accept it, you're going to accept the message and you won't give any thought to the messenger. And that's exactly what Upanishad, or for the matter, text like that, aim to achieve. That the message is much more important than the messenger. And the world that we live in today, where work is not as important as the resume that it creates, this particular practice or belief is something we can hope to achieve someday, if not fully, then at least in parts.